These three paintings have one thing in common, and if you know what it is, it will really help your painting too. Let's get started.
Joe Mackenzie here. We had a live Q&A on YouTube yesterday, and I was asked a question by Shelley, and I felt like I fumbled on it. I don't feel like I answered the question correctly. And I woke up this morning and I thought, oh, I know how to answer that question now. So her question was, what reds do I use to paint a rose? And I told her the reds. I use cadmium red, alizarin crimson, and permanent rose. But I don't think that's exactly what she was asking. I think she was asking, how do you get vibrancy? Because it's not in the tube. It's not in the tube of color. So let me explain that for 1 second. If you look behind me a little bit, you'll see some roses. Now those were light, mostly pink and they weren't red roses. And I know she was asking about red roses. But in order to make the red rose look redder, what I do is I gray down any of the foliage around it. So, and here's an example of an orange rose, which is, pretty vibrant. But if you look behind the rose, you'll see everything is grayed down. So if I gray down what's behind the rose and I add some neutrals in the rose, in other words, put some grays in the rose, and by grays I mean neutrals, that there's a neutral patch there, there's a neutral patch there. Then when I come to my hits of color, they'll be more vibrant. Here's an example where that I think works pretty well. Here we go. See how grayed down the greens are in the background? And by grayed down, I mean that I probably added a little bit of red to my Viridian green and also some Naples yellow. So I used some neutralizing colors to gray down the green in the background. And then when it comes to the whites, those are also quite grayed down because I would have used a mix of cerulean blue, permanent rose, and Naples yellow in order to make those mixes. And those automatically come together as a triad and will make grays. Now by making those grays, you can see how bright the red is on the roses? It's not from the tube. It's trust me, it's not from the tube. It's because these reds are in the context of everything else being grayed down, and so they appear more vibrant. And so here's an example where I did not achieve that, and this is a good example of what not to do. Oops, yeah, some roses. Okay, so again, some roses, but do you see how the roses have quite a bit of color? There's some neutrals in them, but all around the roses, I threw color in there. I didn't gray anything down. So everything is about the same saturation and intensity. And the result of that is there isn't a quiet place for the eye to be. There isn't a contrast. By not having contrast, even though this is the same red that I used in this painting, see how much redder this appears than these do, because I didn't gray everything down in comparison to it. And now I'm going to get off of the live, and I'm going to insert some other examples of that from some much better painters than myself. So I hope that answers the question, Shelley. It is not in the tube. It doesn't matter what red you picked. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but it really doesn't. What matters is what are you doing to support the vibrancy of that red? And I would argue if you gray other things down, neutralize them to some extent, then your reds will appear more vibrant. It's not in the tube. Okay, so Future Joe's going to talk to you in 1 second. Here we go.
Future Joe here. This is a Cezanne. Look at how gray everything is surrounding that fruit. All of those grays are making that fruit look more vibrant. If he had put a lot of color in the background, then the fruit would not have red with that same intensity. So again, graying down is going to make those color reds pop. Look at how neutral this is Winslow Homer. Look at how neutral the sand is, the rocks are. And the result of that is within context that red of the shirt really pops. It's not in the tube, it's in a tube of paint, in other words. It's in the artist's hands to create a context where that red will really shine. This is John Singer Sargent. Oh my God, just look at that. But again, it's the same theory, which is the neutrals. Everything is neutral, makes that pink, red, velvet dress so much more vibrant. If he had made the couch red as well, or had put more color in the background, he wouldn't have gotten the effect. It's all about the effect, tricking the eye. Here's Winslow Homer doing the same thing. Look at all the neutrals, and it makes that sky, that red, much more vibrant. So use your grays. It's not in the tube of red. It's in how you surround the red with grayed down color so that your red reads more vibrant. All right, remember to keep the whites of your paper white, your paints wet, master value mix for color, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.